Right now, I mean, today, 84% of high school students are using generative AI to do their schoolwork. But here is the genuinely terrifying part.
Yeah, only 19% of them are receiving any guidance from their schools on how to actually use it responsibly.
Exactly. It is a massive educational blind spot. So, I want to welcome you to this custom-tailored exploration into our source material. Today, our mission is to shortcut you to being fully informed on how K-12 education is trying to wrangle this whole AI Wild West without a rulebook.
And for this, we are drawing from a 2026 academic paper presented at the American Society for Engineering Education Conference. It was authored by Charlotte Dungan of the Mark Cuban Foundation and Harshvardhan Upadhyaya.
Right, and it's titled Responsible Use Cards for Students Evaluating AI Technologies.
Okay.
Let's unpack this, because the tension here isn't just that the kids are using AI.
Oh, absolutely not. The teachers are actively relying on it, too.
Yeah, the numbers are wild. 60% of teachers are using it, and they are saving an average of 5.9 hours a week on lesson prep.
Which is great for their schedules. But while educators are saving time, they are also, completely overwhelmed by the implications. Only 42% feel equipped to actually teach AI literacy.
Wow, less than half.
Yeah. And the text points out that without structured guidance, AI has a very real potential to perpetuate systemic bias, unfairness, and even amplify racism and sexism.
I mean, handing a teenager generative AI without guidelines isn't just giving them a smarter calculator. It's like giving them a printing press that occasionally fabricates its own facts and asking them to run a newspaper.
That is a perfect way to put it.
But I do have to push back here for a second. Given how overworked teachers already are, isn't it asking way too much to expect them to suddenly become tech ethics philosophers?
Well, that is the exact problem. The burden shouldn't just fall on the teacher. But the issue is that the ethical rulebooks that do exist globally, they are completely disconnected from the classroom reality. What's fascinating here is when you look at the heavyweight frameworks, you have UNESCO's 10 core principles, which include concepts like proportionality and human oversight.
Right.
And then you have the European Commission's Trustworthy AI Guidelines, which actually inform the 2024 EU AI Act and the AI for People framework.
Okay, but if you hand a sprawling UN document to a kid trying to code a Python script in fourth period, they are going to completely tune it out. I mean, those are written for diplomats and policymakers, not teenagers.
Precisely. They are vital for global governance, sure, but the researchers point out they are completely useless for K-12 pedagogy. You have to translate those massive global concepts into something functional for a student.
And the source material shows exactly how they did that. They took IBM's 5 pillars of trustworthy AI.
Which are explainability, fairness, robustness, transparency, and privacy, just to be clear.
Right, exactly. So they took those and combined them with a concept from a 2019 paper by Margaret Mitchell called Model Cards. The researchers basically created a nutrition label for AI models.
I love that analogy. It functions exactly like a food label, but instead of calories and sodium, it provides a quick, standardized snapshot of the data inside the technology, its intended use, and, its limitations.
I get the nutrition label idea, but here's where it gets really interesting. I know teenagers.
We all do.
Right. And if you hand a 15-year-old an extra worksheet to fill out while they are eager to just build a video game, they're going to ignore it entirely. How did this program actually force kids to care?
So they deployed this tool, which they called a responsible use card, at the Mark Cuban Foundation AI boot camps. This was across 20 U.S. locations for high schoolers, grades 9 through 12.
Okay, pretty wide reach.
Yeah, and the reason the students didn't just ignore the cards comes down to the underlying pedagogy.
The paper mentions Seymour Papert's constructionist learning theory, right? And Mitchell Resnick's 4Ps projects, passion, peers, and play. But how does that actually work in practice?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, constructionist learning basically says people learn best when they are actively building something tangible.
Like getting your hands dirty.
Exactly. The traditional way to teach tech ethics is to hand students a case study about some Silicon Valley CEO making a mistake. It's totally passive.
And usually pretty boring for a kid.
Very. But with the responsible use cards, the approach is artifact-centric. The students are evaluating their own code as they build their final Launchpad projects.
Which are their own custom apps or games.
Exactly. And think about it. If you are listening to this and wondering why that distinction matters, think about how much more you care about a problem when it's actively breaking a passion project you built yourself, rather than just some theoretical scenario happening to a stranger.
Oh, that makes total sense. You tie the ethics directly to the thing they're physically building. And the source material actually highlights some incredible moments where this clicked for the students.
It really does.
For example, under the fairness pillar on the card, one student building a video game suddenly realized the AI art generator they plugged in might automatically create characters with stereotypical races or genders.
Yeah, and under the robustness pillar, which essentially asks what could go wrong, another student realized their custom AI character could be tricked by a user into saying inappropriate things.
So they caught the vulnerabilities in their own work.
Because they had to fill out the label. It forced that moment of reflection.
But did this actually hold up across the board, or were those just a few, lucky examples?
No, the hard data actually backs up. Out of the 577 students surveyed in these boot camps, a massive 74.3% found the responsible use cards helpful or extremely helpful.
Wow, that is a huge majority for teenagers doing what is essentially extra paperwork.
It is. Only 1.2% found them not helpful at all.
That's incredibly low.
Now, it is worth noting, about 17% opted for traditional model cards for data-heavy projects, or just didn't do the activity. But the overwhelming consensus was that this exercise provided immense value.
So what does this all mean? Why should you, as a listener, care about what a 10th grader does with an AI art generator?
Because the tech industry is struggling with the exact same blind spots.
Right. The text explicitly points out that professional tech developers could adopt these responsible use cards as a complementary practice, especially for consumer-facing apps where traditional documentation just, it falls short.
It proves that you can successfully bridge the gap between abstract ethical theory and actual real-world development.
Which is huge! We started with that staggering 84% AI adoption rate, a massive technological shift happening in schools with basically no guardrails.
We really are in uncharted territory.
We are. We looked at why dense UN frameworks fail in a classroom setting and landed on this practical, proactive nutrition label that ties directly into a student's own passion project.
But looking ahead, this raises an important question. The researchers are now looking at what they call ethical transfer.
Meaning, what happens next?
Right. Will these students actually apply these same constraints to independent projects a year later outside of the structured environment of a boot camp?
Which leaves us with this final thought for you to mull over. If a simple, proactive nutrition label can fundamentally shift the way a 15-year-old builds and tests their technology, what would happen if every tech startup in Silicon Valley was required to fill one out before writing a single line of code?
That would change everything.
It really would. Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the source material, and keep questioning the tech you use every day.